A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all arguments to delay progress in a democratic political system. So, do I just agree because it's... A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments to delay progress in a democratic political system. Well, yeah, it's true. I don't think it should happen, but... That's what I was thinking. I don't see it as an advantage. Or is that what they're saying? An advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids... But even so, that's still true. Let's put disagree, because I don't want to go... Because that's the right end of the scale, so... The right-wing end of the scale. We'll disagree. I think you're right there, Jubu, but... Yeah. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. And that also depends on who's making the decisions. Overall, yes, only wrongdoers need to be worried. But if the wrong person is making the decisions and doesn't look... agree. Let's say agree. Although electronic makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Because it's like if you get a dictator and they don't like certain things and what happens in certain countries... The death penalty should be an option for the more serious crimes. I just don't know where I lie in the death penalty. Because, I mean... For certain crimes, premeditated murder, anything to do with the child, I think they're the two main ones. Murder, mass murder, anything to do with a child. If you can 100% prove it, then yeah, I agree with the death penalty, but... It's one of those things. Medical test for rapists, that's another good one. Chemical castration. But it's one of these ones, how can you prove? How can you 100% prove? If you can 100% prove, then I agree. It's one of those ones in a perfect world type of thing. Well, in a perfect world we wouldn't have these type of people. But, definitely should be an option for us. I'm going to agree, because yeah. Like... Epstein. Yes. Yes. 100%. Yes. If he hadn't have killed himself. Well, he killed himself. So yeah. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Well, that can't. There needs to be someone on the top and there needs to be someone on the bottom, so... It doesn't really make full sense, but... You don't have to. Yeah, another one where it's like I'm sort of in the middle, but like, yeah, disagree. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, it looks like someone had... A lot of this abstract art looks like someone had diarrhea on a piece of paper. But art's art. Everything is art. Everything can be art, so... Doesn't matter if it looks like shit or diarrhea or what. Still art. In criminal justice... In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Well, all depends on the crime. If it's a serious bad crime, then yes, punishment is more important. But if it's not, then rehabilitation. For most crimes, rehabilitation is more important. Much more important. You know, stealing something, or some type of low-scale fraud, or tax evasion, or... serious tax evasion, or things like that. Rehabilitation. Especially young people. Even if young people I think young people will be different as well. Even if they have a bit more of a serious crime, rehabilitation for young people, depending on the crime, and because they're most likely a reflection of the society and where they've come from. So, actually, wait, no. Disagree. Sorry, I disagree. In criminal justice, some of these questions are getting in my head, and I'm like, what's the right? What answer should I be? In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Disagree. For serious crimes, agree. For non-serious crimes, disagree. So, it is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals. Yeah, it is. But like, I don't want to say that because overall, there should be rehabilitation, but we all know there's some fuckers who are never going to get better. They're never going to change. They're never going to rehabilitate. We all know that, and it's... But how do you know? How do you know what person is going to get better and not get better? So, I'm going to say disagree. Or agree. Because you can't rehabilitate a PDF file. Or a mass murderer. Or did he? But but yeah, we'll put agree. I don't know about that one. But the business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. So you disagree? The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. No. Mothers may have careers, but the first duty is to be homemakers. Strongly disagree. Mothers may have careers, but the first duty is to be homemakers. Well, you could say parents. Parents may have careers, but the first duty is to be homemakers. Well, that's agree. But this question is like gearing toward mothers and women. Yeah, what century we're in, yeah. Like, you have to make sure your home's good. If you've got kids, then yeah, you need to make sure your home's good. And it's a good place for the kid to grow up in. But that's parents. Parents may have careers, but the first duty is to be homemakers. Mothers, no. Mothers definitely not. Strongly agree. Disagree. Strongly disagree. Mothers may have careers, but the first duty is to be homemakers. No. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. Because it's supposed to. Who's Robert? It's pissing me off. I don't like this question. No, it's supposed to. These questions are supposed to be like that. It's supposed to get a response out of you. That's what it said. Like, some of the question might seem vague, some of the question might seem controversial, but they're supposed to be to get a response from you and how you respond to the question. So they've added a section one to say how you will respond, because you know some people will go strongly agree. But yeah. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. Strongly agree. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. Fuck in hell, some of these questions. Jesus. Yes and no, because it's like, if it's just certain things you don't like that just piss you off, you know, like trains and buses, public transport, or maybe they don't take the bins out enough, or they're not filling the potholes enough. I mean, you can make peace of that. There's no point being a kid and like, they haven't filled my pothole in, oh my god! But if the establishment isn't doing the basic things, like not feeding fucking children, then why should you make peace with them? This is going to be so skew with. I have no idea what my results are going to be. They're going to be so skew with. Like, making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity. I guess agree. But because I think a lot of people just give up because they they see injustices and things wrong as a kid, and then by the time they're an adult, they've realised, oh, I can't do anything. This is just what it is. Okay, then. If I try to do anything, then I'll shift up to a random island. Astrology accurately explains many things. Strongly disagree. Yeah, astrology is the... astronomy is the proper one. Astrology is the... made up one. Yes, right, yeah. Okay, disagree. You cannot be moral without religion. Strongly disagree. I don't think you can't be moral and be religious. That's not what I feel like in 2026. You cannot be moral without being religious. No, strongly disagree. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged. Disagree. No, because of social security there, then the charity doesn't need to be there. Charity should be there to pick up where society isn't doing well, or maybe some people have been forgotten about because other people are getting more services at that time. Where no. Some people are naturally unlucky. Like, it's one of those things, like, not necessarily I believe in luck, but I don't know with that one, because it's like, I don't particularly believe in luck or unluck, but people are definitely more lucky and people are definitely more unlucky. But that's just life. That's life. We'll just agree. It is important that my child's school instills religious values. Strongly disagree. It's important that my child's school instills religious values. Strongly disagree. Right, last page. We're getting there. We're getting to the end. We're getting there. Can I go to the next page? Right, actually, one second. What does this ad say? This girl with a spoon over her eye, what you doing? New discovery about vision that amazes optometrists. Do this tonight. Shut the fuck up. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. Well, it's definitely immoral, but that's a good part about no. A same-sex couple... Oh, okay, here we go. Here we go. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. It's funny, they should be able to child adopt. So how is this question worded? A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded. Should not be. Strongly agree that they should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Yes? Same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Yes, okay. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Yes. Yes. Maybe a bit more regulation so it's safer for everyone involved. Because it's things like this, if you make it illegal, then, yes, regulations with a little more security checks. 100%. But in no world would making pornography illegal help anyone. It would actually make things much worse. Imagine the stories you hear about pornography now. Imagine if it was illegal. Oh my god. Oh my god. So yes, regulations and security checks. And maybe more control over your content as well. Well, this one I'm in the P-tweet, because if you take the money from someone, but then you complain later, but you've still got the money, that's a little bit, but it should be up to you it should be up to you.